Hello, guys. This past Thursday was the pilot for the first episode of Rain, which is on the CW. Rain is pretty much is I guess you would say CW's first period drama, which is focusing on the early years of Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1557 France. So the show kind of starts off with is in France, 1557. Mary Stuart, the 15-year-old headstrong Scottish heiress to the throne of the Kingdom of France. She's been in the coven where she has been since the age of 9, and she's with the nuns and stuff. They're getting ready to sit down, have their little porridge thing, and one of the nuns gets sick, and they're like, "Oh my God, get married, get married, get married," and she's like, "What the heck is going on?" And she's been they find out that the woman who died was her taster, and saying they pretty much have been tasting the food since she's been here, and obviously she is a royalty, so obviously this must have been assassination attempt on her life. So we then have her people come and get her, and it's time for her to go meet Francis. It's time for because she's at the age where as a young woman she is supposed to be about the time where she's pretty much marrying age. Married age and get ready to have some babies. Those baby making hips that she has. So she is then she's gonna have to meet her pretty much her husband to be, which is Prince Francis. Um, who we see at the king at his house. We see his father and his mother. Obviously his father and mother's not. I mean, she's queen and stuff, but she obviously is like the mother. Even though her daddy is king, like mom pretty much sort of makes the rules because because she says you're not gonna get married until I say so. I'm like, oh snap! I would hate to be a princess or a prince during these time frames of royalty. You know what I'm saying? Because majority of the time these people married, it had to be for alliances and stuff. Because at this time frame is what 1557, so we're talking about Renaissance period. So the Queen of England, I believe, should be Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, the daughter of Henry VIII, and we all know how she was. I seen the films. I seen the films. She was a badass queen. Anyway, so they have this whole situation where they need an alliance and they need to ally with Scotland. So in case hey, England decides to attack, we have a good army. So this is why they need to marry Francis with Mary. So when she gets there, we see everybody. We see the king. We see his the queen. We have his mistress. We have his bastard child, which is the son of the mistress, and then we have Prince Francis himself. We also see the four loyal handmaidens of the queen, Greer, Kenna, Lola, and Ailey. Mary has pretty much been sent to secure Scotland's strategic alliance by formalizing her arranged engagement to the French king's dashing son Prince Francis. But the match isn't signed and sealed for it depends more on politics, religion, and secret agendas than affairs of the heart. Prince Francis and Mary, they pretty much knew each other since they was children. But Francis kind of had this thing where he doesn't know if he really wants to marry her unless it has to, help his country. Mary, they kind of gave her more throughout the whole show overall. They kind of gave it, instead of trying to keep it more toward history, they pretty much are marketing it toward tweens to get them interested into this. You know, so everything's a little. So Mary's more like she wants to fall in love. Before she marries, but you're a queen. You really has no. The idea of love is not really in your. Should not even be in your vocabulary because you're a queen. So their sister, Prince Francis' sister, it's time of the wedding, and set up him in there, and then since she is a queen, the Queen of Scott, she's a royal woman. She's supposed to, conduct herself in, a certain way. So at the party of the wedding party of the sister of Prince Francis, her friends and her, they kind of do a little too much. They form like a little circle. Kind of like I see you kids play ring around the posy, do that thing where they hold hands and they start spinning in a circle. So to Queen Catherine, that's her name. she's like, oh my god, the Scots have taken over. She she's like so dramatic. But for her, that's seen as, oh my god. For them, that was seen as wow. So that would be like, I'm guessing that would be like the Renaissance equivalent of twerking. Oh my god, I can't believe she's doing that. I mean, what I'm saying? I'm like, she's just spinning around in a circle. But back then, that was no queen was not supposed to do that. She was not supposed to do all that. And so we also see, I can't remember which one it is. Is it Lola? If it's not Lola, you guys can correct me. But I think it is Lola. She's in love with this young man. His name is, what is it? I gotta remember his name. Where is it? I can't remember the boy's name, but her man gets there, and she's all excited. And she goes to the Queen Catherine saying, they want to be together, they want to be married. And the Queen is like, So obviously the Queen has something up her sleeve, so she tells Lola to go, why not? And she pretty much, we don't really see what he tells, what Queen Catherine tells this young boy. And we got all, what else? Oh yes, the honey. Now this scene, I was just like, what the hell? Okay, so it's the honeymoon night. Obviously, you have to get married. So in these terms of for royals, from what I've seen in terms of period pieces, especially with like here the Tudors and stuff, what I have watched and what I've researched it. Okay, so when the prince or the princess or the king queen they get married, she has to, of course, her maids have to, put in her night clothes, and there has to be there's gonna be a group. I'm guessing they are preachers and whatnot. It's supposed to be there to, I would guess you would say, observe the deflowering of the female to make sure she was a virgin, for a marriage birth. Because apparently, if you're not a virgin, that quickly annuls the freaking marriage. So, like, damn. So we see the man. He's like, he turns her head because she's like uncomfortable. Like, okay, it's supposed to be our honeymoon night. I'm a virgin. I'm freaking nervous, and you got these dudes like sitting there. He's like, this is just gonna be me and you there. So they're not physically watching them because they like get on the bed and it's like, how the stuff they have upon the bed that kind of blocks them from view, but we can still see the shadow. But I'm like, the men are still in the room, so I wouldn't be comfortable either. But they end up doing it, and we have Mary and her handmaid. They peeking out, talking about, Queen Mary, don't you want to see what you're expecting for your honeymoon night? Your wedding night. So they're watching. They're like, oh my god, because obviously, women at this point in time, you had to be a virgin. You never, it's not like today where we, we click on a computer or go to a store, we could easily look at pornography and see how, see how the act of sex is, even though pornography is really sex. But you get what I'm saying? Sex is more, as a society, we're more open to sex. Women don't necessarily have to be virgins to be married anymore. But at this time frame, women didn't know much about sex. So for them watching, the prince and the princess, the married couple getting it on the bed, they was like, oh my goodness. One girl, she was like, oh my god, like, and she just had to go, like, oh my god, it's like way too much for me. Then then they end up dispersing, and then apparently Lola go get some man saying, hey, come here. So I'm guessing they all got turned on because we didn't see one of them. She's in the stairway feeling her masturbating. I'm like, what the heck? And then somebody comes over. She's like, oh my god! And we find out it's the king, King Henry. She's like, oh my king! I did not know it. Yeah. He's like, don't worry about it. And he starts to get freaky with her because apparently, as a king, and this is what I learned from the Tudors, even though I'm not really sure if this actually probably would have happened in history in actuality, but it probably did. The fact the king, as a king, he has a mistress, and then apparently he could sleep with the queens or the queen's handmaidens, his her ladies in waiting. I'm just like, really? Like, apparently this, as a king, he is just like really, you have a wife? Like, does the idea of matrimony mean nothing to you? But apparently matrimony really meant nothing in terms, because the idea of love wasn't there. It was just for political reasons. I marry you, we align together, we go, I got your army, you got my army, I'm king, I do whatever I want. The idea of love was never there. So we have that situation. Meanwhile, we have Queen Catherine. She constantly is consulting Nostradamus. If you guys don't know who Nostradamus is, look him up. She's consulting him to know what the future is for her son, Francis, because technically he is the rightful heir to the throne because he is the son of the queen and the King Henry and Queen Catherine. The other child, Bash, he's a bastard child, so idea he's not gonna be he's not gonna be able to get the throne. But the thing with Bash, he's handsome in his own little way, but he ends up developing feelings for Mary. So now we have this whole love triangle thing about to develop with this situation with Bash and Prince Francis, two stepbrothers, and their affections for Queen Mary of Scotland. So I'm like, oh great, now we have this whole freaking love triangle thing. Like, really, do we need this? But it's a tween show. They're trying to gravitate toward teenagers. Ugh, freaking tweens. So later that night, everybody's in bed sleeping. Lola's man is then seen trying to rape Queen Mary because she's a queen in her own right. You know what I'm saying? So she due to the fact what he did was considered high treason, because the queen states that if he would have raped her, she would have been ineligible to marry Prince Francis or any other prince or king because she's no longer a virgin. She's technically impure. So back then, a woman's virginity was extremely important. Like, it was important to the point where you was not gonna get married. Nobody gonna want to marry you. I'm like, Jesus, like for real, like, whew, Jesus, like that always stressed me out every time I watch a period piece. Cause just watching how society was back then, especially for women compared to today. I'm not saying like today is any better because women majority of the day. I mean, women today. I mean, a woman's virginity is not so valued, and a lot of women don't place their value on just their virginity on being a virgin. But and you got the whole sexual liberation. But also, I'm glad women have more control over their sexuality. But you gotta. But I feel like there's like sometimes it gets overdone. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're like, oh, I'm not allowed to be switch my flesh play, but that doesn't mean go out and be a slut or a whore or a tramp. Okay, I'm saying you could be sexually liberated. Doesn't mean go out and do sluttish behavior. You know what I'm saying? That's not cute. I don't care what time period you're in. A woman that sleeps with that many men is still going to be considered a slut. Yes, men do it, and guess what? We have to deal with the double standards. So men are going to do it. Just because men do it don't mean you got to do it, okay? Because I don't think it's cool for a man to sleep with a bunch of women either, you know what I'm saying? Because you sleep with somebody, you sleep with that many women, you get something, and then you bring it home to me. Hell to the no. I don't ever think so. Okay? But anyway, so the boy, due to the fact that he committed treason by trying to commit rape on the Queen of Scots, he ends up getting beheaded that morning. Lola gets pissed off and saying that we're not really your friends, we're just your handmaidens. We're only here to pretty much help you, pretty much guide you into becoming, this queen and stuff. Saying that and she states that we are easily dispendable, which is true. As a queen, she could probably easily replace these women, like just like that. You piss her off. Oh really? Oh really? Really? Or if they probably reject the advances of a king that probably wants to bed them, he could probably easily get these women replaced. So I could understand Lola's sort of her reasons for being upset because yes, you guys may be considered, guys may think you're friends, but at the end of the day, she is royal by blood. They are not. They are easily expendable. If the queen or the king or anyone decide they could be replaced, they will easily be replaced. It's just that freaking simple. There's other women, ladies, and what that I could easily replace y'all with. So I could understand her being upset on that fact. You know what I'm saying? And plus, her man that died and she was all in love with him and stuff. And she knew that he wouldn't rape her, so something must have happened. Because, if you know your man and you know he wouldn't rape nobody, but all of a sudden, he's committed for rape and, he ends up getting beheaded for it, obviously you can't tell. Obviously, you know your instincts, you know what I'm saying? You know something ain't right. So, come to find out, when we see Queen Catherine talking to Nostradamus, she was given a potion this potion from Nostradamus, which was put into Mary's drink, who Mary was then told not to drink it by somebody we don't know, it's like a spirit or something, and she didn't drink the wine because it was supposed to put her to sleep while this man raped her. Because the queen is trying to ensure to save her son, because Nostradamus early in the episode said that Mary will cost her son's life. So the queen is pretty much trying to do everything possible to prevent this marriage from trying to happen. So that means she is committed to even get this girl raped. I'm like, really? Are you that sick in the head? So yeah, so pretty much as we're gonna see throughout this season, Queen Catherine gonna pretty much try to ruin the likelihood of son Prince Francis and Queen Mary from marrying. Next week's episode is going to be titled "Snakes in the Garden." So I want to know what your guys' opinion on this reign, because they're marketing toward a younger viewship, and some of their clothing I noticed didn't really look very Renaissance to me. Like they looked more like modern type clothing. So I just want to know you guys' opinions on Reign. Do you think it's gonna be a good season? Do you think it's not gonna be good because they're marketing toward a younger audience? So I just want to know you guys what you guys think. So comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.